On September 3rd, 2020, Nintendo had a 35th anniversary direct for Mario, everyone's favorite video game mascot. At the end of this presentation, Nintendo showed off Super Mario 3D All-Stars, a compilation of Mario's legacy 3D adventures containing Super Mario 64, Super Mario Sunshine, as well as Super Mario Galaxy. The package also included the soundtrack to each of these games. Fortunately, we wouldn't have to wait long for this collection to hit our Switches either, as the game would come out in just over 2 weeks, on September 18th, 2020. However, Nintendo decided to only release this game for a limited time, opting to stop the distribution of physical as well as the digital version of this game until March 31st, 2021, coincidentally, the last day of Nintendo's fiscal year. So now, more than ever, the consumer needs to decide if they want this game in their collection before every scalper on the planet puts this game on eBay for far greater than MSRP. I've taken the time to reflect on the value of this collection over the weekend, so you can come to a conclusion of if you want to buy this game or not. With that in mind, let's start by looking at each game in this collection, and then we'll look on the collection as a whole. Let's start with Super Mario 64. A Nintendo 64 classic finally makes its way to the Switch. The game that single-handedly standardized movement within a 3D space still holds up to this day. Even though the controls are a bit clunky by today's standards, I can still enjoy the game. Each of the worlds are colorful and iconic, and I can still hum many of the course's themes to this day. Starting with Bomb Battlefield and ending with Tick-Tock Clock, each of these worlds are very creative, and each gives a unique gameplay element for the player to enjoy. Overall, Super Mario 64 is my favorite in this collection, but it isn't my favorite game to play. Let me explain. Even though Super Mario 64 is my favorite game in terms of gameplay and level design, I can't ignore the clunky controls that haven't really aged well. Even with the downside of the controls, I still can't deny that Mario 64 is my overall favorite. I'll continue to play it again and again over the years. In terms of the differences from the original on the Nintendo 64, many of the textures and UI elements have been upscaled to look tremendously better on an HD display. From the title screen to the life counter, collected coins, and stars, it looks way better than the original. It's much clearer. Text that appears throughout the game is also cleaned up, making it easier to read. Some of the text in the game has changed as well to match the buttons on the Switch controllers. Overall, Super Mario 64 still holds up today, and you should definitely still play it.
Super Mario Sunshine! Woohoo!
Next, let's move on to Super Mario Sunshine, the black sheep of the 3D Mario games. I, however, loved Super Mario Sunshine when I was younger. The GameCube was my first ever video game console, and playing Super Mario Sunshine when I was younger was so much fun. Sunshine is much more colorful than its predecessor, has much tighter controls than 64 as well. The introduction of FLUDD was also a great feature for the game, allowing Mario to expand on the existing skills he has, like having a higher jump and further jump and slide. The game also feels faster than Mario 64, allowing the player to perform a myriad of different jumps and abilities much easier than the game before it. Aside from tighter controls, the game also received a makeover similar to Mario 64 on the collection, which gives it higher quality UI elements and cleaner environments. The game also runs in widescreen, making the game much more immersive and easier to look at. The original game's UI elements were pretty big for a 4x3 format and would take up much of the screen real estate that was displayed to the player. But having the game run in 1080p while docked, on top of a wider and taller aspect ratio, means that the UI elements can be smaller and pushed out to the ends of the screen and still make it more legible than what the GameCube could offer. Now, the original game on the GameCube didn't look terrible, but seeing everything in 1080p, as well as making the game more vibrant overall, does a lot of things to Sunshine and makes Isle Delfino a more attractive place to experience. While this game may be the worst in the collection, it still deserves to be played. It should absolutely be experienced if you haven't played this game before. The cutscenes are a little cheesy, and the game may be a bit more frustrating than 64, but it is overall a great experience that deserves to finally be unshackled from the GameCube. As for Galaxy, this is my favorite game to play. It has the best controls out of the 3 in the collection, and it is the simplest to play for those new to gaming. Being on the Wii, it had to be the most simplistic to appeal to the console's demographic. But just because the game is simple doesn't mean that it's bad. In fact, it's quite the opposite. Most people refer to this game as their favorite in the collection, and for me, it's a very close second. The music and the graphics in Galaxy are obviously the best in this collection, But I think what holds the game back is the game's use of a more linear level design. While many people prefer the linear levels of Galaxy, I prefer the open nature of 64 as it allows the player to have a more unique experience to them. While the levels in Galaxy are great, the ability to choose how you play through Super Mario 64 is something that I think pushes the 64 game further than Galaxy. I can make a whole video explaining why I like 64 more than Galaxy, but that'll have to be for later. For now, let's talk about Galaxy some more. I already mentioned how Galaxy has the best graphics and music in the collection, but I also think it's the easiest for anyone to play too. I don't think too many people will get upset with playing any level in Galaxy. Well, besides the motion control levels. But those levels aside, pretty much every other level in the game presents a unique mechanic to challenge the player, and each one is well thought out to give the player the best gameplay experience possible. The story is also the most fleshed out in the collection as well. Now we are still dealing with a Mario story here, but this game easily has the best characters and even some character development with the library segments in the game, which adds some pretty touching backstory to Galaxy. Now what is new in this version of the game? We will be able to use the Pro Controller in this version, making the 3D All-Stars version only way to experience Galaxy with a more traditional controller. And that alone made me interested in playing Galaxy again. With the Wii Remote and Nunchuck, the controls felt a bit awkward for me, but the spin move was at least pretty natural to perform with the Wii Remote. Fortunately, if you do prefer the Wii Remote and Nunchuck combo, you can use split Joy-Cons to play the game as well. Even in handheld mode, you can use the touchscreen as the pointer, so no matter which way you play the game, you can be assured that Nintendo thought of it. Super Mario Galaxy is a game that should be experienced by any Nintendo fan. It's an easy to pick up and play game that will for sure make anyone smile. Now that I went over the games individually, let's look at the soundtracks that also come with the game. The soundtracks of Super Mario 64, Super Mario Sunshine, Super Mario Galaxy are presented in 3D All-Stars in their entirety. And to be honest, each one of them is outstanding. I actually enjoyed listening to each of them. Each one is very unique and has their own unique sound. Mario 64 has this fun upbeat mix, Sunshine has a tropical aesthetic, and Galaxy has this epic opera-like mix. Each one fits with the theme of the game to a T, and it makes it one of the best things about these games. Does Super Mario 3D All-Stars make sense to buy if you already have each of the original games? Yeah, I think so. Each of them look way better than their original counterparts, and each one is enhanced in a way that doesn't detract from the originals. The controls for each game are much better due to the Switch having better controllers than the 64, GameCube, or the Wii. If you do not have the original games, or if you have not played the originals at all, you need to pick up this game. If you have not purchased the game already, I think it is worth picking up, even at a $60 premium. Super Mario 3D All-Stars is the best way to play each one of these games, and having the freedom to take these games anywhere is a treat. Thanks for watching the video. If you're looking for some more gaming content, hit the big red subscribe button below, and click on that bell as well so you won't miss another video from Klungtube. And if you want to check us out outside of YouTube, we also stream on Twitch every Wednesday and Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. And check out our Twitter and TikTok pages as well in the description. See ya!